Growing up in Griffin and Barnesville was an interesting experience. My parents were both educators. My dad was also a minister. And so the church moved Dad from one assignment to another. And so we spent probably the first years that I was born in Griffin. My brother was born there 2 years later, and then we moved to Barnesville. And that's where my sister was born. And so from that time on, from the time I was like 5, I actually lived in Barnesville but went to school in Griffin. Voluntary integration occurred probably around 65, 66, and my parents put me into a Catholic school at that time in Griffin, Sacred Heart. Good school, good people. And so that whole idea of how you work that started with me when I was 11 years old.
Right.
Continued on through high school, and then that was a continuation of it at West Point. I think the thing that intrigued me about the military academy, though, and the military, was that you were allowed to progress as far as you could based on your talents, your abilities, your desire to work hard.
Right.
And I thought I had a little bit of leadership skills. I had played football for a long time, got involved in student government in my high school, and I thought, you know what, I can be a leader. And they were saying, here's what the infantry is, and they're looking for leaders. So going in and being in the military for 20 years, and they say you can retire, and a lot of people do, but I was only 42, and I hope to live a long time. So it was, what else are you going to do? And as I thought about it, several things worked out for me that made it so that it was a little easier for me to get into education. But I decided that I was into what I call public service. I was doing it at the federal level with the Army, and I thought I wanted to come home and let my children learn who their grandparents were. And so it was like, let's get involved now and do something like this on the local level. But the opportunity to go back and be at my old high school and see the children of people who I went to school with was intriguing. And it gave us a chance to have our children come home and be close to their parents and family. And so it just kind of turned out to be that way. And so being in education just turned out to be even special. And I will be honest, it was a very satisfying and rewarding experience being the principal of the high school and then being the superintendent, because I was just trying to do my part to help people come together and improve education. The thoughts about coming here to Bibb ended up being more like this. I have been pretty successful in the military, 20 years, retired as lieutenant colonel. Had become a superintendent in Griffin, and we did pretty well. And so I think the idea was that there are some things I learned, and this is an opportunity to come in a different situation and apply those. Well, if you look at my shelf, you see I have a book up there called The Future of Schooling. And it gives several scenarios. One option is going to be kind of like you take homeschool and just expand on it big. So students would just come and go into school as they'd like, pick the courses, putting together their own curriculum. Another option is that it would be more of a all online, and students would be able to learn anywhere, whenever they want. I tend to think you're going to have a mixture, and I think the traditional school system is still going to have a place. When I was in high school in 10th grade, they were asking me what I want to do for a living. My thought was, I got 4 years to figure that out because I'm going to college. And I think the way people kind of think now, when they get in college and they get through the first 2 years, then they're deciding what they want to do. And so I tend to think you're going to see a better integration of it. Here in Macon-Bibb, I think we have a great opportunity. We have several colleges and universities that allow us to have a better relationship, so our students can do almost anything they want to do. As I look back at it, I realize that a lot of people helped me out along the way, and I've been very fortunate to have worked with good people who have been able to help me grow and develop. My hope is that I was able to do the same for others, and as I reflect back, I think I was fortunate enough to do that for some in the military, and in education. It's been good. I think the highlight for me, though, has been trying to realize what John Maxwell talked about at one time, which was take your life and see how many people you've been able to touch and help them. And he kind of measured his way by how many presentations he gave, how many people came and were a part of that. And so I kind of changed that to how many people am I able to influence in ROTC. Then in the high school I was the principal of. Now in the systems where I am a superintendent. And so I feel very fortunate that I think we've done good work, we've been doing good things. I've had great parents who've helped me, and I think if there's a lesson to learn, it really is true that it takes a village to raise a child. And we all need to realize that we have a role in that village.